And I think the old can in terms of the growth of the Ghanaian democracy.
Yeah.
So what they compare the rest of the world, especially the developed world, I'll say, yeah, the NE is still baby democracy.
Yes.
Because we've done this for 32.
We are teething.
32 years, you know. And Obeka still an issue. But say eba even in electoral processes now, e kwan ye fa so eto aba, e kwan ye fa so ekan aba no, e kwan ye fa so declare result. I think we've put in place systems comparable to the best in the world.
That's
I mean, in terms of transparency in the process. And yes, here are politicians no can say
but the reality is
but in terms of transparency, in terms of putting in place the right procedure, free and fair. I think we've done well.
And even the structures a seeking redress when you are not satisfied with results and answer process be a course. So collation, recollation, and then obi the court afraid so there be say aka police station 1 2 3 there and then young collecting so near who results ni akoni papa we are declaration they ko gazette very simple even enra there be me can I am enra because you
yes
and how much at the swearing in of members of parliament before say even crown you be usher in speaker na say you be to ne so abampo no o say clerk of parliament na ono na at that time power no ekura no no e kire say a high court awo Yakufodua I injuncted obi no injuncted yerua Ernest Kumi say nyoma ba kumi no ma yensu ni in but omo insist say whatever it is no say contempt to say ya so twen o say you
are ready to bear
the consequences and nyina no obi anim obi atre de ekoso enti after that no so obi taking matter no up say court na nkasa ebeto aso edi asem no no wa so twe bia obi anim sem obi ante process na say yes obi na ekwakwakwoye bia witch hunting bia na bibi the bia niam nani and say the yes nyini ko no me as a Ghanaian I'm very happy.
That's true. And my in terms on the injunction bits, no, we're not an interim injunction. And Veronica said for interim injunctions, the court granted 10 days.
10 days.
In Dusha, we're not 10 days.
Okay.
You were interim, you were interlocutory. Interlocutory, for the entire period, a case in the court. The injunction at all. So on to say a better area.
But we're not 10 days now.
10 days now.
Okay.
Okay. So it was granted just last week here. In the 10 days, no, and so after 10 days, no, Nipa will apply for the injunction can go back to court and adduce reasons why I was a court sign extend the emano. And also bet me for even an interlocutory injunction. And your perpetual injunction, no, yaka assembly the court it me injunct perpetually. Say yes, stop from doing something, you know. And we no more interim injunction on NST Aukumi. And Enra Clark Ekai say, hey, Enna Homachi, Clark Ekai. Article 105 of the Constitution, money clear say consequences Emma in. But they said no, he will still be sworn in and he would bear the consequences are able to me.
I hope a time will come, you better analyze it, and you might a woman say, oh, chineni, and Yama court was some open and near good. Now, what I said, he be French baby and what in the book. And I need TJ. You made this sound. And
okay, Fenyo Markin raised the point of precedence.
Precedence, yes.
You know. And also, let's see how this one would pan out. Akwitia constituency. It's really interesting. So I'll share numbers now. The gap between NSTL committee and NDC candidates, no, almost 2,000 votes. You know, but the NDC feels, send you maybe course or anko iye. As to why you used to this route, no, a conversation for another day.
Sure.
Because some people think, say, once the Gazette has been done, and you recall, say, Enra, the clerk to Parliament, Eka, say, based on the Gazette, any notification of Gazette, they proceeded to register NSTL Committee. Yes. The NSTL Committee registered as a member of the 9th Parliament. And one would have thought, say, okay, so Sadia, your route could have been through an election petition at the High Court. But Omono wanted to intervene after the injunction, the substantive
but for now, Akwatia MP.
Absolutely.
In the person of
Ernest
Enra, o share menu and animal to abre.
Enye easy.
Wadane penny by force.
Enye easy.
Ne koko no crash.
Enye easy. Because when him say the history in Akwetia or contest first.
Wabre.
Nioman Kwe.
Oniama say.
For 4 CIS. Asanya Babio this time with Timmy Ewini and still there is a challenge to his victory. But that's democracy. I mean, so we'll be in Tiasema say and yet a call to taking up arms.
No.
Or they call court. Not court, you know.
I don't even believe say Yasu in India and Yasam de Nasam Ayekau.
Also the challenge they say so parliamentary election petitioner, say high court now obeko, and it ends at the Court of Appeal. Say a parliamentary election in Supreme Court, presidential the Supreme Court, and say with the Supreme Court the presidential elections there was a specific rules of court or mashaya say within 3 months.
Frame, yeah.
3 months. Because of the lessons from 2012 petition, you see, I say go beyond 3 months. Parliamentary petition in this idea. And
Ayawaso
gone there. Yes, it took almost 4 years. In
years.
In fact,
by that time,
ruling
MP
was serving a term. But you recall, say in that ruling, the court say his name should be expunged into on parliamentary records. No, a woman say one on call parliament. And it as if say on winning election be on call parliament. That's the consequence. Ubetimi enya. But yeah, Uncle say because by the time Ubenya ruling in your favor, any panel. Enjoy benefit. And the other thing is even when his name is expunged from the records, sad decision is without prejudice to be in Parliament.
Any retrospective
in Parliament.
The car loan, allowances, salaries, any diplomatic passport. Wow.
You know.
Wow. It's a good time.
Okay. Let's see. I mean, beyond the injunction, no, you share the substantive meaning. Some of the application they call together with the injunction application there, but we would see what the substantive
and
application.
MPs be almost a G3 kakra Tama Central MP Charles Forson.
Yes.
And
Okankwe
Central.
Yes. Patrick Boama.
Yeah, Patrick Boama.
Yes.
And there's one other person.
And the next one is Techiman South.
Techiman South.
Yes.
Techiman South. Jamin
Sakos.
Yes. Inti but Enra no many aje.
Yeah.
We say initially na antis kakra. Yeah, me say Enra. Many aje.
Yeah.
Numbers sekita NDC no. Very difficult for our minority side. Say ono mo be battle near my out. Ono mo be twini twan. I think at this time bibia be koso bia no. Senye sebia mayenti ase ne enso emfa adwen kakra bi ntam the NDC caucus doesn't need the minority too much. Akwakoye this term at daho say in a democratic dispensation the minority will have their say but the majority will have their way because a absolute majority and mind you nipa ednaya omoye independent candidate ni nyina no omo nyina akọ towards the NDC side, no. Kwame plus Frimpong of Asen North.
Yes. The other two now.
The
majority side.
No. And it makes sense politically because they say, say NDC numbers no ukitano. Oh, here will be no lobbying too much. It took the other side that lobbying, friend lobbying, about side, and said that Emma, when you be their constituency. And being an independent candidate a winning election wabre
it's true
when ya ewu papa bi anyina so enya mo papa bi ni favor bi enfra ban no anya bibia nkwa you will lose e ba sa obra nyina wa
ayekwa but no
politically no
no na say mayenka say who say mostly so independent candidate o bargaining chip when numbers near close.
Yes.
Now, ultimately tilt the pendulum to one side. In the case of a Siama, for MENA, because of how other numbers near close.
Yes,
second deputy speaker as a bargaining chip or the deputy speaker. Sisi and social independent candidates now, omuni bargaining chip. Because really, so our numbers now, so far 276 constituents officially ECA declare 275. Out of 275, no, NDC were 183.
Yeah.
NPP were 88 and are 4 independent. So, Osha, the makeup of parliament is here to have 2/3. We have 184. Now the
Unyai. Make us already independent.
Of course. It will independent for Nababe Kahono when you are 2/3, no. And really, now only here.
From micro.
Yes. Now only here, even all the 4 independent candidates. Mind you, I also 4 now, apart from A+ and A Frempong. 2 now Akano are NDC guys dada. And now Omubuanyu Bibisu Omuko independent. It is easy for them to have convinced them to join. It's not 2/3 ne the head ombenya. The 2/3 ne are critical because now say in the constitution you want maybe how person woman there who here 2/3 of members present. Parliament intimate share that enyusu enyina so far amending because they are not adding so obenya 2/3. Or you need members on the other side to join you to have 2/3. And then the NDC comfortably and just have 2/3 now. There are some clauses in the constitution one person more amend there. The any entrenched no we hear referendum no. Unya 2/3 it can go through.
To say the levies the betting tax, and your man be on one, betting me clear, just and they are betting me clear.
And no put for levy tax, handles, no, and we hear the majority to just clear. And nobody we here to
test him.
You understand? But be to say a essential be now person way, essential motion be now person way. You also we impeach president. You need the 2/3. If you know that those ones can be done now. That is if the NDC would want to impeach
I don't think so.
Which is highly impossible, But Enoch will say 2/3 no ubetimi the aye nyoma bebre. That is why it is so critical in this
Unim say the are hopa the minority side. Say pa na say na me no be din komo. An experienced legislature say ono fie say senye ECOWAS parliament bi ana AU parliament bi ne say na me be boa wa sia behwe and as a committee be our bekoso ni bia nipa or ye chairman ne ade no mutirimu omra e compare friend come no we betimi adewo
that we come no say we betua oka mind betua oka
me no mienu nim sa katua enhwe nipa okro
mind betua oka
me no mienu no the reality is to say the just ended parliament 8th parliament is in no more there
sure
ne more de pap obi obeka che ze ne munye de bia no etrofo because bibia e bia no uhia afanu ni nyina
yes
what I say do ade we na aba o mo me hwe ne nka o ye hwe ne aka so ye ka say
e dey na members it me use
ye nko na nanim kwa against the executive but say no nipa no on me progress bibia ba because no amaso dada what I say and ya anya careful so a e be week in parliament no. And until was say yekoso advocate say whatever the situation is, whatever the principle, and I say the policy, the conversation is, you make sure say you be ya so make in parliament, the minority side almost you better omonka, and almost they have to be up and doing. And I mean to say you record your point, say there will not be an obstructive opposition.
But with fidelity.
With fidelity, I think a solid statement. If say ombe work sa talk in there because numbers maybe akwa die no ne pempenso na ejina no dey so nipa ne be kikiri bibia ni a partisanship no say no they have to do away with it
but enon so no bebre na be gina the speaker of parliament so it will not even be so much for the NPP a speaker of parliament also ensure say that balance no ebeba now at least the minority voice no would be heard because when you speaker no so too much partisan I'm sure he will shut out the minority because of our numbers the nation would count on the experience of Alban Sumana Bagben say obetimi a moderate and come because we feel
moderation ebeba Obi, moderation beba, but ohwe baby a ono no renomination.
Yes.
Free support ne free a mandate members of parliament to push him no. Me assure say president won nneoma bi opese wo ya. Onhwe nchenchen and you have the full trust and the speaker say ade we ni we am pesa me ye no ni nyina aka ho bi kura nti na ma me pia say ye mount
omra. But I think and also the issue with our statement now about Enra, even though I was saying in our President Elect Abaso, because it's on record say even time I know a president, Bagbin, not Bagbin any minister, but you know Bagbin is on record to publicly have even criticized on one boss, the president. You remember?
I know Obeka say if you want to see my back, 2016 is just at the corner. Yeah.
Yes. For the president to still nominate Obisa for a second term as speaker, no, it's how President Mahama has risen above petty, politicking and which is very commendable. But the issue with statement, and say even though say over the years, no, president a role to play in who becomes Speaker of Parliament. There is no doubt about that. From 1992 up until now, president a role. The only difference this time, they said that role no has been made public. Now there is a statement officially. Who be sada. But only settle into MPP for President they push assume NDC for President they push President Mills Joyce Bamfordado no we're pushing say until we know say idea a cost. But this time no there is a statement, official statement, which is quite very, very interesting. And when Ebiaka say it might in the long run weaken Parliament. But again, say unim Alban Bagben and so or a stickler for procedure. Dabi, or person nyoma echo wano. And I think ebe buano ene ne reform agenda in Parliament. Say in the last 4 years, no, what try say Obama Parliament are taking a pride of place.
Sure.
Now Parliament me rubbish shoulders with the other arms of government. It is our reforms now say now he has the backing of numbers in Parliament to ensure, say, Niome was here to our constitution, to make sure, say, Parliament able to me enya sa authority, no, dia checkmate executive, the judiciary, no, e was so oye den, omutimi eye. Back on any day reforms, no. Don't we all think, say a pair independent Parliament, and what's a MPBI minister? It's something we have to talk about. And they have the numbers to ensure that some of these things happen, And other reforms, in fact, former President
Mahama... MPs ne go ni nyina obia ni wo.
Obia position. And that's how we
hear. Ebeye den say, omo na nkasa be support sa de no.
Yeah, but truly say a independent Parliament, if the MPs are representatives of the people, and mind you, say Okofa, the report of the Constitutional Review Committee, or more report no mu issue na ban issue white paper on no. That report was clear. Say the Ghanaian people are in favor of that strict separation of powers. Say Parliament no enye Parliament, executive enye executive, because it's a no-brainer. Now say we are MP. Now Saiba be a minister. How do you really checkmate yourself?
But unim say, Obi, let's talk about the realities. And nay, politics are ye ukruman. Apart from omo that loud for their political parties now. Say ebia ya to Obama president bi okata na ni kra na say nipa no edi ringe bell o masum no. The best stepping stone e de ma obi in a political landscape no. And say obewura parliament. A man of 14 bi a very strong.
Yeah, sure.
Say obey catch the eye of the appointing authority, no benya ministerial position. What you say?
Yes.
And this announcement in Namua so your party, when I na adding, say be identify o. Nipa mako pe bi na was favor no.
Yes.
What you say?
Yes.
Anything I make say be very difficult for Omwanka sample to push it. I say be say as gracia in komo say. Eba odo be hu say the besi akwakoye. I pa akoye to say the election of MMDC no me count. Eba omo ye considerations bi in as much as Ghana for 1 year maybe omo pe no. Politicians nakasa so omo personal interest bi at any point in time they try to protect.
Yes.
What you say?
Yes.
It's sad personal interest no ne national interest no committee Debia and why I am political interest, no?
Yes.
Emum override.
And no soon you hear reforms, no? And now say I think the president elect owes it to the Ghanaian people. And when any promise I will make you, he made a promise say there would be constitutional reforms. A clear. In the NDC manifesto. Yes. And Sisiano, through a stroke of providence, and Yankopon so I ensure say, he said you have the numbers as our reforms. A very easy amount. And if we truly are serious about this Ghanaian enterprise, reform, if we say the best opportunity, see the better reforms no at this time. And Sisiano, no, former president, I know a president elect, Ekan, say, oh no. A DJ and our Babajini because on elections bill or just 4 years obetuma kata na ni aye nioma bia o pese oye it me feel say Ghana for nyina was say a boom na ye ensure say reforms na yaka ho asema kan say yen kate the powers of the president down kakra yenye say yema parliament ye independent yen reform judiciary yenye we no. This is the time. This is the moment.
A very good point now making, but I mean, I still have my doubt.
No, I agree. I
agree. And even be all no more favor the political elite.
Yeah.
Omo Edom Sabe.
I agree.
What you say? And me obia so yan conscientize amount for say and your promise bia na president elect na any offer office and I say all swe abano or ye na obetimi
deliver sure
promises in here bebre it reforms here okay obetimi fa reforms no ne fa bi aye wa adwuma the nsa kam wo hu say why reforms bi but e bia de wo hwehwe no ne de wo kan no because say e be wa touches our political class in it no obehwe ni mienu and na face kra no e ya na enye ono nko a decision ye wo nkrofo wo akire a wo be sori atia o ti ase enra statement here ba ye say ya pardon nkrofo bi inside information bi na e say it was true quite true but nipa bi sorry say the backlash nya dey quickly na ya overturn na wo kan yeru aba ben say onya kwanya aba ebiem no ye chese ye mampani ayato obama no arise above bia petty politics binim ne ho keka ho obi ani hono mo a obetimi aka say for the past 4 years adwuma Yera Aban Bagen aye especially for the NDC caucus in parliament obetimi underrated say adwuma o yema wom even coming to the latter days of the 8th parliament no sa a friend say stand still here by yenom ne ho keka ho no a play role papa e wo election ya mu e bia na on person obehwe ne press conference a oye after Supreme Court ruling and Nioma or elaborate ye be so to the entire Ghanaian voting public no ne sabe the elite omu follow trends na Nioma na ekoso no ni nyina ye Nioma you can only reward him with another term say omra messing because we play the role e bia wo hu no campaign platform bi so but na dwuma o ye o parliament ho any sunsuanso a e de ba ye ne se de ma aban no a wote so ho hyehye na du time bi afesi kakra wo se wo de ye niam bi nipa bi o so oboa wo mo ne ho keka na what promise obi so be man tax waiver na de na law ko na afeli wo hu se wo so time aso a se nipa no se na adwene konko hwe what you say enti adwuma o ye technically no eboa NDC as a party enti na omu ni bibia be to reward him.
Yeah, but interestingly, you also know, sir, there were conversations behind the scenes, and not Ebimonso per se, almost a son. Oh, yes. Although, say, Speaker of Parliament, here one position among for we interest.
And only based on the relationship with the incoming president. No?
Sure.
Depending on I know say he was not in the good books. Okay, the three wise men. After say Professor Fimwa, Yera Muhammad Teki office. Na Yera Babin from health to works and house. Now feed the VHS. So Mumbai share duties. Or no clear to
three wise men.
Near the yiti mensa. Yes. Now feed the I say. Who friend who say there was no crowd. Who na dia warrior. It's that time. No na ya odie woman. Also they can't say because of feel say. Baby, I want some party never from minority leader to majority leader to party never ba a year power. Now old minister kakrata for tafre. Now feed the. Ya be yine to akonya sa na ni mu aye ha no na or bitterness kakra on mu to the extent say obe contest no kra. And those times some of the tapes be on me say me dey ma wa mo abo and someone o kan ye e dey efa your former president ho ne ho ka na ebia no o hye kakra. But here is the case abro onya akwanya so obe some party no in the capacity as a speaker. Yes, a party no per se as a speaker no. Why ye dey also ye Emma man, party so why they also my party.
That's true.
That's definitely. Initially, when I'm for can say a Juma war no or the 17 position sample bit must have a age and it be a health and M1 because I'm saying Temona and what this. But Enra no fully refined, fresh. I said, Sikaya dear Papa na said tears in that day. Oh, sorry, you dear son, Nemu, baby. What's that tears in the memo? I just say. They say he's good to go.
That's true. I mean, and he's also made history. We want him say, or the second after DF Annan to have 2 terms as speaker. Obia Enya 2 terms.
33 years in parliament.
33 years in parliament. And I think, apart from him, the next Alaji Collins Dauda, he has contested every election in the Fourth Republic. But I think one of them will win it. But I contest every election in the Fourth Republic. Ononso ache ewo parliament here and then Osai Chairman Sabonsua. Ononso a free parliament. He's been in parliament since 1996. That's quite a long time. And he Osai Chairman Sabonsu. But one thing I say, yes, maybe I'll run through way quickly. Now for Yababa Beshe, parliamentarians are a free parliament and a new entrance now urban and the expectations on them. Yeah, 120 new entrants and Eba.
But my young man for so NTS your lieutenants no our grounds.
Sure.
Your reporters are more independence where more our president elect ni fie any more a nam krum in no time never join you na yama for the feel of a yedwumadi na ekoso no even your original correspondent so kra no on a letter biania so ye don be di high election contest in common dey yedi ani yedi atrem na ye wie ne prekonti ho asam so
good into Oshe outgoing NDC MPs and the year started with Oshe was screen this one James Kluche Aveji the name Edda, so he is famed for the role I will play as chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. Solid parliamentarian. Ketu North, member of parliament in the Volta region. We did 20 years our parliament from 2005 to 2025 or no a free parliament. And Nipa Wababe replacing here one of the new entrants. Edem
Agbana.
Yes, Edem Agbana. Cletus Apol Avoka. Zebila constituency.
Cletus Apol
Avoka. And Unim said, on also 24 years in parliament. And Obekaya, Enra, Kesiela to Forsen, PhD, all man concluding remarks. A time a year dissolved the 8th parliament, no? Or that will be as you the final personal body did dana say, a Cletus Apol Avoka. Say Bibia Trene, so on also a leader of the house, that very experienced parliamentarian. So only say Chairman Sabun Sudin come over catch or say. Or build or no one as a kitchen cabinet be in parliament or more say bills bar or new or motnasi it go through the bills line but all the bar floor or plenary or MPC baby they are not even interested.
Yeah, omo abin a consideration
of bills. Oh, come on. The Cletus Avoka can we inu Safuseni account and all of those MPs. The Cletus Avoka solid parliamentarian or non so. Efrimo Ako. And the last person now can so Honorable
ABA Fuseni. Al-Hassan Bashiru Al-Hassan Fuseni.
The Proverbs man.
You see, Omo himo. Especially after proceedings now so be granted
interviews
pay interviews obema interview amoni age and ontimi nkasa ba ko mienu a ebenim
solid guy. Solid guy.
Or one person Olusi na Emi up or the KT Hammond.
Yes, on the KT Hammond.
Some kind of humor be on the back. You see, Parliament is very stressful.
Very.
Very, very straight.
And sometimes also lighten.
Yes.
Lighten a
sometimes who's a command was who's a kitty, sorry, Obia Bessery. As some now can so.
No pressure, never from
the style of presentation, you know. Per se, a honorable a command on call interview, and you bring or the
Charlie. Honorable Kwabena, yeah, 8 years in Parliament, Pro East constituency, former energy minister, an energy expert himself, very, very solid member of Parliament, and the Parliament will miss the expertise. My very good friend,
the marine
engineer.
Oh.
30 years experience as a marine engineer in the US.
Oh,
no, you're brutal. Peter Yaokwachiaka, Memphis Central.
Joanna Jan,
Ekokotu, no, yes. On also 8 years in Parliament, he started off as a DCE. In fact, Free America Bar first, he contested on the ticket of the NPP.
Yeah,
and Ankoye, and Oswape, na Obey DCE, and then he became candidate for the NDC.
Mekai said, is it? Mekai Western Regional Minister Crow. So, Commander Crantier. Okay, it's how you know.
I never too.
Oh, sir.
Yeah.
Share. So about Commander.
Peter Yaokwachiaka, baby Obia Yetiano, and another very, very solid parliamentarian. It's unfortunate, sir. On also elusive primaries, and or attempted to
or a very dramatic person, eh?
Very.
Or status or cancer, you be now, as for the emotion, Vinny,
about Obi. Unim me constituency, Memphis Central, say a cocoa near Obi. Oba constituency, a comment, a fita, a dink for cocoa pharmacy,
some of these MPs, Macron constituency,
yes.
Our constituency, such a person, and as such an MP, no, and Ed say, who be pleasing Crawford.
Yeah.
Because of the nature of the constituency.
Predominantly rural constituency.
Yes.
Ope constituency in Swa, Oma Kwine, Enya Kra in Ghana. And it's a very resource-rich constituency. Cocoa e wohono. Cocoa. I'm Memphis Central.
And I say, I'm saying,
yes. It's a very, very interesting constituency. Honorable Kwachiaka.
All right, young co-independence square. Said the media can say, yes, spread tenterhooks, you know, across the country.
Baby.
Now, some can say independence square hall and a center of attraction. Now, Abana Pokuya near AKA bottom power, BP. None one day, none.